In an office building in the Philippines, 700 people were quietly pretending to be an artificial intelligence. Every time someone tapped buy on an app called Nate, they were told a machine handled it instantly, autonomously. No human involved. That was the pitch. That's what raised $40 million from some of the sharpest investors in Silicon Valley. But there was no AI, there were just people, hundreds of them, sitting in a call center, clicking buttons by hand, pretending to be code. And that isn't even the part that should worry you, because Nate isn't an anomaly. It's a warning shot. Right now, over $200 billion in real venture capital, real pension funds, and real retirement accounts is sitting inside an AI industry built on the exact same underlying illusion, valuing software on capabilities that simply do not exist in reality. Some of that money is already gone. Some of it just hasn't figured out it's gone yet. This is how $200 billion disappeared. $40 million for Nate sounds like a lot. It isn't. Not compared to what's actually at stake. Right now, investors have poured over $200 billion into AI companies this year alone. Real money. From pension funds, from venture firms, from people who think they are betting on the future. And that bet only works if AI is real. If it's actually cutting costs, replacing labor, and generating revenue on its own. I'm not even asking for profit, generating revenue on its own. Nate is what happens when that bet gets desperate. When the model hasn't been deployed yet, doesn't work yet, but capital has already been deployed. And now somehow has to show the return. So they fill the void with human labor and call it a software. Easy as that. But here's what should actually scare you. Nate actually got caught, and most of the companies don't get caught. And the harder we look, the more this stops looking like one bad actor and starts looking like the entire industry's operating model. Here's the pitch that got Nate its $40 million. One tap and an AI would buy anything for you online. No forms, no checkout, no human anywhere in the loop. Just code doing what code does. Investors loved it. It actually sounded like the holy grail of consumer tech. But federal prosecutors in New York say this isn't what happened. According to the indictment, when a customer tapped buy, the request went to the contract workers in the Philippines and Romania, reading order details and manually typing them into retail checkouts by hand. Every autonomous purchase was just a human pretending to be a machine. And this is crazy. To keep the lie alive during the fundraising, when an investor downloaded the app like live and during that fundraising time, the company secretly prioritized the order and making it look like it's actually working in real time. They asked all the staff to actually drop everything that they were doing and prioritize the order live that was happening at that moment. To raise like actually $40 million, you have to kind of make it look like it's magic. And if it would have worked, like it actually sounds like magic, to be honest. I know how they were fooled. Subscribe so I can subscribe so I can get the YouTube premium if I start making money. That is. Now we just gotta wait, right? Just I do want to make it look like something cinematic, right? So give it a little bit of time. Almost done. Mm. Looks nice. But it didn't fall apart because of a whistleblower or a hacker. It fell apart because of a math. Software scales exponentially at zero marginal cost. Human call centers scale linearly with payroll. As order volume grew, the payroll exploded, and once the cash ran out, the curtain came down. $40 million sounds like real money. It isn't. Not next to what was coming. Because Nate had to construct an entire fake AI just for that, to raise that money. The next company didn't even need to fake the product. It was backed by Microsoft, valued at $1.5 billion, marketed with a simple promise. Making custom software should be as easy as ordering a pizza. It didn't need hundreds of people pretending to be a code. It needed something much quieter. A line item on a spreadsheet that wasn't even real. And by the time anyone even bothered to audit, the company was already dead. Yeah. Builder.ai's whole pitch was one sentence. Building an app should be as easy as ordering a pizza. Pick what you want, and AI handles the engineering, and you get the software back. Microsoft backed it. Customers trusted it enough to hand over their entire business, their apps, their database, their infrastructure to a company valued at $1.5 billion. Then an internal investigation found something underneath that was pretty intriguing, to say the least. The company had reported $220 million in revenue. Yeah, $220 million. Not bad, actually. If it was real, the real number was close to $50 million. And you have to understand, this gap wasn't in rounding error. It wasn't like 217 to 220. We're not talking about that. It's 50 to 220. God damn. Investigators pointed to a practice called round tripping. Money moving out to a partner company and coming straight back in, dressed up as sales that never actually happened. Once that came out, as you might have noticed, there was no fixing it. The company ran out of cash, laid off 80% of the staff, and collapsed into insolvency. But here's the part that doesn't really make it into the tech headlines. This wasn't just an investor problem, yeah? Real, like actual, like running businesses with actual revenue and no round tripping shit had built their entire business livelihood on this Builder.ai's platform. So when the server went down, when the database went down, their own databases went down with that. And I'm not talking about not delayed, not backed up somewhere else. A whole business data was gone like that. And people who trusted an AI powered dream lost the entire product of their own business overnight. Because the thing that was actually keeping the lights on was never an AI, it was actually the money. Nate lied to prosecutors. Builder.ai lied to auditors. Both of those are crimes, and both of those are being punished. Now, what I'm about to show you isn't a crime at all. It's not. No indictment, no bankruptcy court, no investigators finding a smoking gun. Yeah? Just a video, valuation, and few $1 billion that appeared open overnight. For a product that actually claimed it does something that it didn't even do. I don't know how simpler I can put it, but I'll explain. And that actually might be the part that should worry you the most, to be honest. Because, like, if you never really needed to break the law to materialize billions out of thin air, the fraud was never the problem. The actual hype was the problem. In early 2024, a company called Cognition released a video that broke the tech internet. It showed something called Devin, built as world's first fully autonomous AI software engineer, not a coding assistant, an actual engineer. It could take a real job, understand the specification, write the code, debug itself, and deploy without a human ever touching the damn keyboard. The video was stunning. Within few days, Cognition was valued at billions of dollars. And I don't know how the fuck do these companies just keep getting that valuation, right? I need to do something like this. Hey, yo! Because I need money. Yeah. Hold on. I won't do that. And then independent software engineers started investigating the video frame by frame. And according to those technical teardowns, what looked like a seamless, like David like doing the thing, was actually a very selective editing that was done very nicely. I mean, for billions of dollars, you must have spent like quite some time with that, bruh. Developer audits highlighted specific discrepancies, pointing to instances where Devin edited files completely unrelated to the assigned task, and in one widely cited breakdown, spent minutes troubleshooting an error the system had generated itself off camera. None of that context even made the final cut. Yet, no charges were filed. No open investigation and no wrongdoing was ever alleged. I don't know how, man. Like, are these cunts blind or they can't do shit against anything? Are we really doomed? Are we really fucking doomed in this AI thing? I mean, it's too late now, but I think the answer is yes. A hard yes with a period. Three companies, three different tactics, one identical problem underneath. Nate, Builder.ai, Cognition. None of them were actually running cheap, scalable, autonomous software. They were running expensive, bloated models like wrapped around someone else's model, burning cash just to keep the lights on. Real production grade automation was too costly or too tedious or like too hard for them or like maybe like too unreliable for them to even deliver what was actually in the pitch. So instead of spending the time and effort to build something sustainable, they just constructed something out of thin air, like maybe some time, but something that looked like a finished product. Humans standing in for code, numbers standing in for revenue, edited footage standing in for capabilities. The lie wasn't the original architecture. The lie was what happened when a real thing costs too much to even exist. Here's a part from those stories, those three stories that nobody really wants to acknowledge. To deliver like actual AI function capabilities, you don't really need a 200 and fucking 200, $300 million war chest. Yeah? It's cheap. Like, it's like not cheap, not really cheap, but for like normal humans, like doing normal automations, it doesn't really cost that much. If you want to build a company, yeah, you need an enterprise thing, like whatever, yeah, it will cost. It won't cost 200 mils though, yeah. And you absolutely don't need a fake demo. Like, you don't need it. You don't need to inflate revenue or mask an offshore call center behind a slick interface. For a lot of business workflows, there's actually a much leaner path. One that trades third party apps for direct operational control. This is a sovereign stack approach. No middleman wrapper taking an extreme markup. Like, no getting trapped in a fragile middleware that could change the pricing overnight or like that could cost too much like just suddenly. Just direct API communication with the designated workflow. That's it. You just need to connect few things and do a little bit of backends and you'll be alright. I've done it. I've done automations myself. You can watch the videos. I've done a few tutorials. Like, I'm not new to this. Now, managing your own orchestration or like on your like own database or like whatever does actually mean like you will take the risk of like if something goes down, if the server goes down, yeah, there is things there. You have your own maintenance. Mostly you'll have to do yourself, like most of the backends, or you can hire someone. Like if you want to build a company, you will hire someone, right? But in exchange, you get no vendor lock-in. You can just transfer the workflow to something else. They're like a few different apps who does it. Let's say this, if one of these apps goes down, you still have your APIs and things just waiting to be connected to a new one. It will take a setup, a simple setup, depending on how complex it is. But you will have your own workflow architecture, your own. Yeah. It's an approach focused on sustainable unit economics over venture fueled bloat. The real reason here is Not that AI doesn't work. AI is fantastic. Yeah, it's not all doom and gloom. Yeah, there's genuinely good cases of people using AI for good reasons, and it can be used. I am not against AI. It's the structural danger of inflating promises when the underlying tech and unit economics aren't ready to back them up. Don't build for the hype cycle. Build the honest version instead. Alright. Thank you for watching so far. Um, I'm not just trying to make any content here. I'm trying to make something that is genuinely worth watching, that is genuinely worth your time. So let me know how good of a job I did. And sorry for clickbaiting you on the thumbnail, because if you don't know Nate Builder AI, you're not gonna click. So I had to put those AI companies there to just get the clicks. But hopefully I deliver something like really nice. You learn something new. And if you have any topics, anything that you want me to cover, hit me up. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.